We're talking about sleeping, right? I know y'all thinking, yo, why is this dude talking about sleeping? Like, I mean, yeah, it's important, but like, what's important about sleeping? To even talk to? It's a conspiracy show. What the fuck this got to do with a conspiracy, right? Well, um, turns out it's got a lot to do with it. So, as we continue in this article, it says because of the immense problems of our society faces from sleeping issues, a massive treatment quote unquote market exists. Unfortunately, like many things in modern medicine, the more money we put into the problem, the worse it becomes. To illustrate, so this is from an article, right? Despite a nearly 65 billion a year sleep aid market, y'all heard me. The sleep aid market is $65 billion a year. 50 to 70 million Americans suffer from sleep disorders, and many more experience the physical and mental toll lack of sleep can have on the body and brain on any given day. Globally, the sleep economy, which includes everything from beds, pillows to medical devices, rings in a whopping $430 billion a year. Maybe Mattress Firm really is selling mattresses.
I thought it was closer to the trillions, but that's pretty
Nope.
high. That's
In 2020 alone, more than half of Americans say their sleep worsened due to the pandemic, and 76% of Americans admitted to purchasing a sleep aid to help them fall asleep, stay asleep, or improve the quality of the sleep they had at night. All right. So we're talking about how much money is involved in the fact that you people can't sleep.
so you got weighted blankets. You got the what is that the sleep coffee. Now they got these little coffee shit that help you go to sleep. The rising motherfuckers using melatonin to put kids to sleep. All of that shit.
Facts. Right. So your lack of sleep is being monetized. All right. The whole there's a whole economy around your sleeping problems. And so for me, what that says to me is if there's money in you not sleeping, then somebody's creating the problem. Right? So when they talk about the screens and shit, the fact that that blue light in the back of the screen, right, that's there for a reason. Right? That's contributing to the sleep problem. Right? The entire scam comes down to the fact that most sleeping pills are sedatives, not sleeping aids. Y'all hear it? Let me say that again for the people in the cheap seats. Most sleeping pills are sedatives, not sleeping aids.
So you're still not resting. You're still not sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
It's artificial. It's like it just calms you down. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. What this means is that once you take them, you are no longer conscious, but since this is done through sedating the brain, its ability to initiate restorative sleep functions is greatly impaired. As a result, people who take sleeping pills effectively have a greatly reduced sleep and in turn are both tired throughout the day because they did not have restorative sleep at night and are at risk of developing a wide range of health issues associated with poor sleep. Let me see. Put a two in the chat. All my people that be taking sleeping pills, where y'all at? All my sleeping pill takers, where y'all at? I know y'all here. Y'all ain't got to hide. Y'all ain't got to hide. Don't be hiding. We got one person that's honest. Thank you, Christina, for being honest. All right. She ain't the only one. For every person that say me, it's 37 others that be like, mm-hmm. All right. Let's get back to it. Hold on, man. What'd you say,
Well,
Kay?
before you get back to it, can I just caution anybody who is actually going to go on um this parasite protocol, because I just feel like Linnell did not adequately prepare us. I would caution people when they first start with a half dosage of the fenbenzidol for the first week, and then
Okay,
kind of like build your tolerance up, because it is like a month or two long. So, work your way into it, because if you start with the dosage that they tell you to, you probably won't get through it. Okay, so just cut it in half or quarter it in, in the first, and then work your way through. I'm just trying to help people out. So love y'all. It's crazy.
bruh. Can I get back now?
Yeah,
Can I
I
get back to
just
talking
while
about
you was
sleep?
waiting for the
Hold on. What was your experience, Jamila, to make you want to say
It's
that?
nasty.
She's
She just don't like the
traumatized.
taste.
It's
Linnell, she's
nasty.
traumatized.
It's nasty.
He,
That's what
yeah.
the experience is. It's nasty.
Oh,
Bruh.
that's with the
No,
ivermectin,
no,
or
no,
was
no.
it
This
that
is the
other stuff?
fenbenzidol.
Oh, okay.
Can I get back to the sleep now?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
Thank
sorry.
What about the hydrochloroquine? How was that experience?
you. We busy.
Already know.
Oh,
I
okay.
paid
All
for
right. Anyway, so we were talking about sleeping pills, right? One study found people who use sleeping pills were twice as likely to die as those who did not, and three times more
God
likely
damn.
if they were daily users. Worse still, another study compared 10,529 sleeping pill users to 23,676 controls, found that over the course of 2.5 years, the sleeping pill users, depending on how many pills they took, were 3.6 to 5.4 times more likely to die. And for those who took at least 18 pills a year, they had a 7 to 99% increase in risk of dying from cancer. This in turn led the authors to conclude that in 2010 prescription sleeping pills may have been associated with about 500,000 excess deaths in the US alone. Okay. Most prescription sleeping pills like Ambien, I think that's the most popular, are classified as sedative hypnotics and are fairly similar to the benzodiazepine medications commonly used for anxiety, like Valium. The problem with these drugs is that they are highly addictive, but unfortunately, despite the fact that they are only supposed to be used in the short term, individuals typically end up being permanently on them, at which they can't withdraw from them. Conversely, over-the-counter sleeping pills like Benadryl or Unisom are typically antihistamines, and unfortunately are also sedatives that damage the sleep cycle. Okay. And a real quick note: alcohol has a similar mechanism to benzodiazepam, which may explain why it's an addictive sedative that inhibits the sleep cycle. Okay. Now, go ahead.
So,
So,
even a hot toddy?
so they get addicted to these sleeping pills, but they're not letting them rest because they're sedatives. So what about the sedatives makes it addictive? If you're not if the response is not rest, if you're not restful.
Maybe how it makes you feel. Right? It might activate the addictive, like that addictive part in your brain, right?
And it sounds like you could think that you're resting, but you're
Right.
not. And so you
Right.
continue to use it because you think it's working when it's
Because
not.
you wake up
So
from a
it's like
dead
that feeling
sleep.
of euphoria.
Yeah, you wake up from like dead, like just
Being
okay. I got
unconscious, really, you know.
it.
So
Right,
you
really.
think that you're sleeping, but you're unconscious. You're not really resting. Yeah.
Also, just really quick. So, a lot of times, sedatives, the way they work is they give us more GABA. So, if you've ever heard of like the anti anxiety drug, like gabapentin, it's GABA is the chemical that's responsible for our brains calming down and also helps us regulate for things like anxiety or other high stress emotions. So if you're taking a sedative that forces your brain into that rested, even if it's not sleep, right? It's sedated, right? It has more GABA coursing through it. It gets to the point where it can't produce that GABA by itself.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Now, I say all this so for a very specific reason. All right. Um, and it's going to become obvious in a second. All right. So we've been talking about how important sleep is. All right. How there are several health conditions that are associated with it, physical conditions and mental conditions that are negatively associated with the lack of sleep. All right. And so that being the case, they found ways to monetize the sleeping that you do. So they found a way to monetize you getting sleep, right? Through sleeping apparatus, beds, and pillows and shit like that. But more importantly, the pills, right? So this is their thing, the pills. So they need to keep selling people pills because it makes them a lot of fucking money. All right. And so this leads us to this part right here. While most of the sleeping medications are unsafe they're unsafe and ineffective drugs are best avoided. One actually worked and frequently produced miraculous results. In turn, I know of numerous cases where my colleagues prescribed it to chronically ill patients with challenging conditions, i.e., non-restorative sleep is one of the classic symptoms of fibromyalgia, who almost completely recovered when they received it. That drug, originally developed in 1874. Anybody know the drug that worked for insomnia that was developed in 1874? All right. It's called gamma hydroxybutyrate.
No, I never heard of that.
Yes, you have. You just never heard that name. It's called GHB. You heard of GHB
Nope.
before? Okay. In 1964, it began to be marketed in Europe as an intravenous anesthetic, but never quite caught on due to its unusual properties. On one hand, it's an ideal anesthetic. It slows down the heart rate without creating a loss of blood pressure. It doesn't irritate the veins. It doesn't suppress the respiratory centers in the brain. It relaxes the muscles. It induces sleep without reducing oxygen consumption. It protects tissue from injury due to blood loss, like during hemorrhagic shock, or from reperfusion injuries after a temporary loss of blood supply. It permits an easy reduction and maintenance of the body temperature and reduces the metabolic demands of the brain. Okay, so those are all the things that it actually did. So remember, they they brought it out as an anesthetic, and so it did a bunch of good stuff. So yeah, I mean not P. Poseidon said, "Yo, it's the date rape drug." So that's where it that's where it came from. That's what it got known for, as a date rape drug, right? That's where it got known for. People like it got famous as being a date rape drug. All right. So remember, it was supposed to be anesthetic, so it did all those things. But what conversely, and so for it to be an anesthetic, there were some things that it didn't do. Um, its duration of action is somewhat unpredictable, so they didn't know how long your ass is gonna be out. The central nervous system remains active, and hence an autonomic nervous system will regulate the body in response to external stimuli. Meaning that, yo, you supposed to be fucking under anesthesia and somebody touch you, you can respond to it. And they're like, yo, you can't have this. We cutting on motherfuckers. Um, in adults, it is insufficient for total anesthesia and hence normally needs to be used with another anesthetic, which is given at like a lower dose. Okay. So because of this, while it was much safer than a typical anesthetic, it was not practical to use during surgeries and was much more appropriate for use in intensive care unit. Over the decades that followed, a wide range of research was done on the substance, where it was discovered it had a variety of other extraordinary properties and very low toxicity. So, for example, it metabolized in succinate and then water within the mitochondria. It's LD. That's too fucking sciencey. We ain't gonna get into that. The most apparent benefit was that it was powerful and it was a powerful and consistent sleep aid that immediately put the recipient into a deep sleep cycle, resulting in the benefits of those cycles were being restored for many who had previously lost them, and the individual waking up feeling completely refreshed and energized. Furthermore, it frequently could allow people to feel fully refreshed after just 3 or 4 hours of sleep, was unlikely to be addictive, and did not suppress any reticular activation system. Note, while its benefits have been clearly demonstrated for those with sleeping disorders, its effect on the sleep of relatively healthy individuals is much less understood. Meaning, if you don't have a sleeping problem, then like they don't really know what the fuck is going to do for it. But if you have trouble sleeping, then this was the shit. All right.
The date rape drug?
GHB.
Yeah.
Right. GHB. Yes. Um, and so we're gonna get into why I answered it like that in a second. As scientists and the members of the public began exploring the drug, according to Ward Dean MD, who provided extensive references to support his claims, they found a variety of benefits from GHB from GHB, including it's dramatically increased the levels of growth hormone. All right. Um, as growth hormone heals and repairs the body, but greatly declines with age, this resulted in many previous frail elderly patients on GHB having significantly increased strength, stamina, muscle mass, and function. While in younger patients, significant improvement was seen in their healing from muscular injuries. So, if you was old and you took it, it helped you. It helped you. It gave you back fucking some strength and muscle and stamina, right? And if you're young and you took it, then it helped you heal faster. It produced remarkable results in the treatment of a variety of addictions, particularly opioids, alcohol, and benzodiazepines, along with helping mitigate the withdrawals from each of these substances. Conversely, GHB was not addictive. Catch it? So it helped you get off of
Oh,
addictive
right.
substances, and it wasn't addictive, whether it be opioids or alcohol, right? It helps you with withdrawals, but it wasn't addictive. All right. It increased dopamine levels within the substantia niagara, thereby counteracting the effects of Parkinson's disease. So this shit was even good for fucking Parkinson's. Where the fuck is Michael J. Fox? All right. Where's Rashanae at? It aided childbirth by relaxing the mother, dilating the cervix, and protecting the fetus from respiratory depression. Yo, this is getting good. It had a variety of aphrodisiac effects. So this is where y'all get y'all date rape drug shit. It had a variety of aphrodisiac effects, such as making people more comfortable with sexual intimacy, dramatically increasing their sensitivity to touch or being touched, improving the male erectile capacity and premature ejaculation, and increasing capacity for female orgasms. Mm,
Hmm.
Fucking ocean on fucking the dark web right now. How do I get
Nah, I
GHB?
ain't doing.
Yandex like a motherfucker. All right. Um, Helping individuals address subjects they are otherwise inhibited from exploring during therapy, thereby allowing therapeutic breakthroughs to happen. GHB was also found to be particularly helpful for couples therapy. Hey. Having a
Good for a lot of shit, for real.
I know, right? Having a disinhibiting effect like alcohol, but making individuals friendly rather than aggressive. It temporarily helped with anxiety, but with many of the side effects seen without many of the side effects with benzodiazepines. Similarly, in France, it was frequently used by students who had to pass an exam or give a presentation. All right, so this was all the fucking benefits of GHB. All right.
That's you know what? That's one of them. That's one of them that's I've ever heard of. That's had a lot of side effects on the eye side of things. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Um. So,
Like imagine that being on a commercial though. All of them being actual side effects, and you hear all of that shit. That make a lot of motherfucking money actually.
And
yeah.
then the commercials will be more authentic.
Oh, it definitely would. All
Because, you know,
right.
they be all happy and then they tell you all them side effects and death is a side effect and everything else. But they happy.
Mm-hmm. All right. Um. So, question is, yo, you got this drug that does all these great things. All right. Um. It's it was intended for one thing, right? Like anesthesia, but it wasn't really good for anesthesia. However, it was good for a lot of other shit. All right. What happened to it? That's the question. All right. Um. So you waiting for the bag, Christine? Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. So it says, I have tried to illustrate how frequently the medical industry recruits the public relations industry to concoct a campaign that guarantees them lucrative profits at the expense of everyone's health. For example, I recently highlighted how the dermatology profession rebranded themselves as skin cancer fighters, an incredibly lucrative business that transformed dermatology from one of the least desirable to one of the most desirable specialities. Through spreading as much hysteria about skin cancer and the dangers of sunlight as possible, this was this was really bad because sunlight is essential for physical and mental health, right? And lack of sunlight causes rather than prevents the deadliest skin cancer. Likewise, as many of you know, throughout COVID-19, the FDA covered up the clear and unambiguous evidence demonstrating the benefits of ivermectin for COVID-19, creating a hysteria about it and hydroxychloroquine. Dangers despite them both being incredibly safe drugs, as well as doing all it could to block ivermectin from being used in the USA. In in the case of GHB, how we getting to what happened to GHB? In the early 1900s, it began entering the US as a supplement, largely due to bodybuilders recognizing the value of its increasing growth hormone in the body. Before long, the FDA decided they needed to stop it and became very interested in publicizing the adverse reactions to it. And in no time discovered 57 calls to poison control about it, which the CDC heavily publicized, including 9 which resulted in ICU admissions, but 0 were fatal. This, in turn, is very similar to the epidemic of poison control calls for ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine deaths we saw during COVID-19, all of which were later shown to be a hoax. For example, the photos of people lining up in ERs that were supposedly overloaded with ivermectin poisoning were actually old images of individuals lining up for COVID vaccines. Um, so here, this is a FDA release. This is a press release from the FDA, right? Um, in response to the calls about GHB. So this says in 1990, the Food and Drug Administration today warned customers to discontinue use of an illegally marketed drug, GHB, or gamma hydroxyburic acid, that has been promoted as a legal psychedelic. I don't think it was promoted as a psychedelic, but has caused more than 30 people in California, Florida, and Georgia to become ill with symptoms ranging from nausea and vomiting to severe respiratory problems, seizures, and coma. Health departments in those states have been working with the FDA to learn more about GHB linked illnesses. Thus far, the investigation has uncovered strong evidence linking GHB consumption to the illnesses. GHB, also called sodium oxybate and gamma hydroxybutyrate sodium, is a chemical that is being promoted for strength training, bodybuilding, weight loss, and as a replacement for L-tryptophan, a food supplement the FDA ordered removed from the market last year after it was linked to red blood disorder. GHB has been used in Europe as an anesthetic adjunct, and it is being evaluated in the FDA-approved clinical trials for the treatment of narcolepsy. So they're telling you that they were fucking testing the shit. The FDA offered consumers the following medical advice. Anyone taking GHB outside of a physician supervised clinical trial should stop immediately. Anyone who has consumed GHB is experiencing seizures, uncontrolled shaking, headache, unexplained drowsiness, or other central nervous disorders, nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea should consult their physician immediately. Scare, scare, scare. Physicians treating patients exhibiting these conditions should report these cases to the local poison control center. According to California Health Department, GHB is sold through through mail order outlets, health food stores, bodybuilding gyms, fitness centers. Is marketed as powder or granules. All right. So yeah, that was a press release put out by the California Health Department, right, or the FDA, I think. Right. It says then on this basis, or then on the basis of the authority bestowed by the press release, right? So they took the shit in the press release, which was full of deceptive inaccuracies. The FDA banned GHB in the country, threatened compounding pharmacies into no longer supplying it, and began raiding people who were supplying it, which they did not have the legal authority to do. Many of these arrests eventually went to courts where the FDA engaged in a series of highly unscrupulous tactics. For example, when attempting to prosecute individuals for supplying GHB, they argued that there was no evidence GHB had any valid use or had any evidence of safety, but simultaneously, they refused to let the courts admit the decades of evidence arguing otherwise, or the fact that there were 15 investigational new drug applications which had been submitted to them for GHB, each of which indicated a lot of evidence actually existed. For reference, those INDs were for, so this is the stuff that they were using GHB for: improving sleep patterns and maintaining daytime alertness, reducing schizophrenic symptoms, stabilizing Parkinson's disease, reducing nocturnal um, myoclonus, which is painful leg cramps at night. How come they couldn't just say that? Improving memory problems, stimulate natural growth hormones, decreasing pain and improving sleep in fibromyalgia victims, relieving symptoms Huntington's chorea, regulating muscle tone and dystonia musculorum deformans. Yo, I got all that right. Controlling tardive dyskinesia symptoms. Yo, I got that one right too. Decreasing drug withdrawal symptoms, alcohol and opiates. Decreasing hyperactivity and learning disabilities in children. Inducing sedative tranquilization, relieving anxiety and lowering cholesterol. So there were applications um, to the FDA, people for GHB, for all of that shit. While at the same time they were in court arguing that there was no like there was no benefits to it. There's no evidence for valid use um, for GHB. This is what they were claiming in court while while there were patents or applications for its use pending. Okay, because of how egregious the FDA's tactics were, i.e., prosecutorial misconduct, withholding evidence from the defense, lacking a legal basis for prosecution, entrapment, or illegal searches and seizures, the higher courts gradually sided with the defendants and began overturning convictions. So remember, so they convicted all those people who were selling GHB. The shit got turned on appeal because they cheated and lied during the fucking hearings. The FDA, in turn, switched to trying to persuade the state legislators to outlaw GHB, as politically it was not possible for the FDA to do so at the federal level. So they sued people who were selling it, saying that yo, the shit's not, it has no pharmaceutical fucking value, right? And so that was a lie. And so after that shit got overturned, the FDA started to lobby politicians to outlaw it because they couldn't legally prove that it was bad. All right.
So how are they outlawing things they can't legally prove this bad?
So the FDA didn't outlaw it. They
Oh,
went to the politicians and lobbied the politicians to outlaw
oh,
it.
okay.
Okay.
That is
Everybody
like,
caught up so far?
yeah.
Everybody,
You know
huh?
what? I'm just like listening to this like really like intently because I have fibromyalgia. I have been prescribed the gabapentin, recently the Ambien because it's hard for me to sleep due to all of this chronic pain and bullshit, and something else you already named. And it's like they could have given me this GHB thing that has all these other benefits. So yeah, I will be asking my doctor about that. Like, why?
Bruh.
Crazy.
I know, right? Um, all right. Where was we at? Okay. So, they're asking the FDA to outlaw GHB because they can't do it. Okay. Now, as Rohypnol had recently entered the United States and fear was beginning to build over its use as a what? Y'all know what
Date
Rohypnol
rape.
is?
Date rape.
Date rape drug. So that's the roofie. Rohypnol was the roofie. All right. So as Rohypnol entered the United States and fear was beginning to build over its use as a date rape drug, since it both made the recipient unable to resist the assault and likely to forget it, the fear of roofies was juxtaposed onto GHB. That's why when
Wait,
I
wait.
said
Oh,
GHB,
so they're not the same?
they are not the fucking same.
But
Okay,
how
because that was
close is the
scaring me.
chemical composition? Is it just that they're similar? Because a lot of things are
Nope.
similar.
No, they're not similar at all.
They just have a couple of the same.
No,
No,
that
they were
oh.
made similar by the fucking media.
Okay.
Yeah, because some of the things that
Okay.
you described in the GHB compared to what I know of what they call the date rape. I didn't know what the name of it was, but um, it sounds like you get strength from GHB.
Well, it will relax you, right?
Right, but it wouldn't
It's
cause you
not the
to
same.
be able. I mean, but you would still be able to
Right. It won't take
resist if
away your memory.
somebody.
It won't
Right,
make it so you can't fight.
right,
That kind of
right,
shit.
right.
Okay. Um. So in turn, the media began trumpeting that America was facing a wave of rapes from a silent, odorless, and colorless drug that made one helpless to resist or even remember the assault. In parallel, these likely focus group tested words began flooding those stories about GHB. Dangerous, potentially lethal, hallucinogenic, addictive, illegal, designer, date rape drug. Note, Rohypnol was able to avoid the later ban's GHB face because manufacturer successfully lobbied for it to be left alone. All right. Um, Before long, a few young women were identified who had been date raped while on the drug and then died afterwards from the drug side effects. The media did all it could to fan the hysteria, i.e., see this Time article was San Francisco Chronicle. So they gave um, a few headlines or whatever from people talking shit about GHB. Right. Note, one of the most extraordinary ones was the Tennessee Bar Association publishing an alleged affidavit from the medical examiner who performed Elvis's autopsy, claiming GHB killed him. Yo. Although once questioned, he stated it was just an academic exercise. Right. Using this fear campaign, the FDA gradually convinced individual states to ban it. And in 2000, in honor of two GHB victims, Congress passed the Hillary J. Farias and Samantha Reed Date Rape Drug Prohibition Act of 2000. The law made GHB a Schedule 1 drug, whereas cocaine, for example, is Schedule 2. So they made GHB, weed used to be Schedule 1, thereby bypassing the protections of that GHB had from the 1994 DSHEA Act. As GHB is produced naturally within the body and found in small amounts within meat and wine, so GHB is actually a natural substance. Remarkably, however, the emergency law also included a special exemption for pharmaceutical preparation of GHB, which was instead made a Schedule 3 drug, which violates the entire basis for the scheduling, as something can only be a Schedule 1 if there is no accepted medical use for it. That's hilarious. That's fucking hilarious. Um,
So wait one second. So GHB and Rohypnol, right?
yeah,
So Rohypnol is supposed to be the date rape
that's the date
drug,
rape drug, right?
and did it have the same composition as GH?
No, no, no,
They
no.
were totally different.
Yeah, totally different.
And why did they introduce Rohypnol? Like, what was
Because
its purpose?
so Rohypnol was a date rape drug,
So it
right?
legitimately was meant to be the date rape drug where you're out, but you can still, like, what is it? You're totally out or you can't
Right,
move.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can't remember shit.
And you can't remember. You just, okay. And it people were confused with Rohypnol. They thought that was what was
Right.
GHB?
Yes, because
Okay.
the media confounded the two.
Okay. Okay.
Intentionally, yeah.
Intentionally
Okay.
confounded the two.
Because okay, for all the reasons you're explaining that actually GHB has got better, like more natural things than it's making it seem worse than what it really is. Yeah?
Facts.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Let's see.
And that it's not bad, right? It's not bad.
No.
It's
No, you even
yeah,
said there were
it's all good.
natural components to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's naturally produced in the body, and it's let's see. It says it's naturally produced in the body, and it's naturally like there are small amounts of it in beer and wine, so it's a natural substance. Let's see. Do do. All right. In looking at these events, there are three important things to take note of. First, the entire epidemic was made up of a safety database used for monitoring these types of things. Found GHB accounted for less than 0.1% of the drugs mentioned in emergency department reports. In 2006, after the English police examined 120 cases of sexual assault, they determined 119 of them involved alcohol, often at dangerous levels. 57 had taken an illegal or controlled prescription drug, i.e., cocaine, and only 2 had received GHB, which may or may not have played a role in the assault. In 2010, a 2010 literature review determined that GHB had had been detected in between 0.2 and 4.4% of reported sexual assault, and hence was not causing the rape epidemic the media hysteria has suggested. The most detailed account I found about the tiny GHB epidemic can be found here. So he gave a link. Second, it didn't make any sense. GHB was very salty and hence easy to taste rather than being a stealth rape drug, especially at a dose which would be sufficient to sedate someone. If GHB actually was effective date rape drug, the last thing you would want to do would be to widely advertise it to potential rapists. That's hilarious. Most of the claims made about GHB overtly contradicted the decades of research on it. For example, the minor muscle movements made on the drug were labeled as seizures, despite EEG studies repeatedly showing they were not accompanied by seizure motion in the brain, while the brief deep sleep it caused was labeled as comas. Hey yo, they call it the sleeper coma. Um, in lieu of evidence, the media unquestionably repeated the government's talking points. Finally, each widely publicized GHB victim, none of whom were ever sexually assaulted, had had a story inconsistent with GHB being their cause of death, alongside cause clear cause clear. Hold on, this is a fucked up statement. Let me try to read this again. Finally, each widely publicized GHB victim had a story inconsistent with GHB being their cause of death, alongside clear cause of death. Like, that was odd. Besides GHB, for example, a blood clot in the heart and a family history of fatal heart defects or accidentally being dropped on the head while asleep. God damn. This includes the 2 date rape victims the act that outlawed GHB was named for. Likewise, the small number of case reports that were used to portray GHB as dangerous presented a very weak case that it was. In contrast, large numbers of victims exist for many of the lucrative drugs on the market, but we never hear about them because their manufacturers sponsor both the media and political class. Let's see. This is the addendum. After publishing the article, I was asked to clarify how Rohypnol, through lobbying, was able to avoid the bans GHB faced. Briefly, Rohypnol, the technical name is flunitrazepam, is a fluoridated benzodiazepine that, likely due to being fluoridated, has a very powerful effects on the central nervous system, leading to it being used as an anesthetic and sleep aid. When flunitrazepam came into medical use in 1974, its manufacturer Roche opted to bring it to market around the world, but for some reason did not seek FDA approval in the US, which is likely why it took a while to enter America. When the date rape drug anti-GHB bill began circulating at a state level, this led to a remarkable feat of lobbying, to quote Ward Dean, MD. Incredible as it may sound, in Hawaii, GHB was legally classified as a date rape drug, while Rohypnol, a highly potent commercial benzodiazepine drug similar to Valium and Xanax, was quietly dropped from the legislation at the last minute, apparently due to pressure applied by its manufacturer, Hoffman LaRoche. This occurred despite the fact that Rohypnol is widely acknowledged to be used for date rape purposes. It is far more potent than GHB, and because a smaller dose is required, far easier to slip into someone's drink unnoticed. With no equivalent force willing to stand up for GHB, it never stood a chance. After I saw Ward Dean's claim, I reviewed the text of the National Anti-Date Rape Drug Law, and sure enough, it somehow was not in the legislation. I then checked flunitrazepam DEA scheduling and found out it was a Schedule 4, which is the least severe category and what both Valium and Xanax are in. From this, I inferred Rohypnol was kept out of the date rape drug bills to protect its international market. All right, any questions?
This is wild, the lengths that they go to just maintain control and profits.
Oh, yeah.
You said to protect what international markets? What are they trying to say? Trying to say like for human trafficking and sex slaves and
No,
uh,
so excuse me. Essentially, if it's listed as like a Schedule 1 or 2 over here, then other people in other countries can point to the US like, yo, that shit is mad illegal over there. Why is it commercially available over here? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this shit, it's Schedule 4 here. That's like Valium and Xanax is what they said. That's like damn near over the counter shit. So they got it to where, yo, the date rape drug is mad available. You know what I'm saying?
but that would also help with like kidnapping and all that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hell
And
yeah.
there's a market for that though, right?
There's a market for it, yes.
For organs and all that.
Definitely. So yeah. All right. Thoughts? What y'all think about that? All right. So what we're seeing is um they're monetizing sleep, right? So it's a real quick recap if you just got here. So we were talking about how sleep is being monetized, right? So as a market, sleep is being monetized, right? And so um when something came on the market that absolutely killed everything else, right? In terms of its effectiveness and its safety and its benefits, what we saw was the pharmaceutical machine go into full fucking force. And they found a way to outlaw it and make it to where you like most people they associate it with date rape drug and they don't want no parts of it, no matter the health benefits. Like this is par for the course. They literally did to this what they did to ivermectin. Is like what the writer said at the beginning, right? So how they outlawed ivermectin and pushed the vaccine to the detriment of many. They outlawed fucking GHB and they're pushing Xanax and Valiums and all kind of other fucking sleep aids like a motherfucker.
And
Like
it's all about what they can make money off of. You know, what they could profit off of, because if it's pharmaceutical, I mean, if it's, you know, if they can mainly make it more synthetic, then they can patent it.
so, the thing is, this shit was patented, right? So this is synthetic GHB. Like they found a way to so they made it in a lab. Like it's a pharmaceutical,
Right,
but the
but what I'm saying is like anything that, well, yeah. So even though they did that, it seems like they're against it because it really does work. You know,
it
like
was
they,
going to wipe out the market,
right,
right? So
yeah.
all the rest of the sleep aids was about to go night night. This shit was finna wipe out the fucking market because not only did it do the job of making sure you got really good sleep, but it was also healthy. It helped restore your health for problems that you had.
Right. They couldn't do that because then they won't continue to make money off of ailments they continue to make up
Exactly.
from the drugs that they give you.
It was about to wipe out the whole fucking market, and they came through and murdered it. And so reading this literally gave me the feeling of when I saw a dude with the was it Stanley Meyer with the car that ran off water. They came through and murdered him. Right, par for the course.
It also seems like, as the like you said, monetizing sleep disorders and things like that. Um, it also seems like when you mentioned that in 11 days, if you don't get any sleep, you can die. Um, there's something about the psyche. It seems like as the brain regulates everything, it's like if it malfunctions, it seems like it causes everything else to. And in addition, it seems like if you're getting enough sleep, then you're not going to be as easily propagandized or brainwashed or um, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What you say, Too Real? How can we get it? You know what? I'm willing to bet you one you can buy that shit in China or Mexico. Where's Robin at? Robin would have already been on it. She would have already been like, you know what? I found 4 websites where you can buy it. Here, let me see. Um, let's see. So one, I'm using Yandex. Um, oh wait, hold on, I see it. So how to buy? No, not that. No, hold on, maybe I should spell it out. Oh no. Hey, I'm gonna tell you the fucked up shit. Um, So there's a website. It said buy GHB online, and then it's got GHB Rohypnol ketamine. So they still putting that shit together. They want more.
Right.
Yeah, this shit is wild. Hold on, let me see. How to buy?
So you got people lacing it with something else because they don't want it to be what
Nah,
it
they just selling them together, like just putting them together.
is. Mm.
You know what I'm
It's not
saying?
outlawed.
What's the point of
You
doing
can get
that?
it through prescription still.
Yeah, you can definitely get it through
Yeah.
prescription. hmm But if you can't get a prescription, then um, yeah, it's like, yo, how do I get that? Um, Let me see. So I did the same thing when I was looking for ivermectin. It's like, yo, what the fuck do I go for ivermectin? So I see a couple joints. So apparently, yeah, you can buy it online somewhere. Shipping, yeah. So it's available on the internet. It's probably coming from outside the country. All right. Probably better hurry up before them tariffs kick in though. But yeah. So it's still available. I don't know how many of y'all got fucking insomnia. Where my insomniac said. I know a lot of y'all got insomnia. Y'all be up. A lot of y'all be up like late at night after we get done here. A lot of y'all be up late as shit.
Not me.
Man, there's some insomniacs in this joint. I know it is. All right. So yeah. Um. So this is another one of those. This is another one of those. Right. People who can't sleep. A lot of y'all know people who can't sleep. Like I know people who can't sleep that have trouble sleeping. Right. And I never thought about, like, of course, if you're somebody like, like us, where we think natural shit, right? We think about melatonin, things of that nature. But some people need something a little bit stronger. And so a lot of people take sleeping pills. Like I know a lot of people that take sleeping pills, right? And so it'd be nice to give them something that actually worked better than a Xanax or some shit.
It sure would because, like you said, you ain't never lied when you said that you don't feel rested. Because I don't feel rested after I wake up from that. I feel exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of people like that. And so the thing is, I don't have that problem, so I never really understood. I'm like, yo, you just woke up. They were like, I don't know, I'm just tired. So I didn't know that sleeping pills don't help you actually sleep. Right? I didn't understand that part. Right? That just because you're not awake, don't mean your body is getting the proper fucking rest. Like that's the thing.
How many people you know that take them pills exercise?
You know what, bro? I know a lot. Because that's one of the first things I would say. I would recommend all kinds of random shit to people. Like, yo, get up, exercise, do this, get some sun, this, that, and the other. Yo, same fucking problem. Like, I don't know
Do
what it
they have a
is.
routine of exercising?
Yeah, yo, again, I know people who they did all the things. They do all the things to get sleep, and they can't. Right? Like, they can't go down. So, no, it's a thing, bro. It's a thing. I wouldn't even like do that to people. I would definitely, suggest shit, but I've seen it. I've seen people who do all this stuff, exercise, eat right, this, that, and the other, and they sleep like shit. And I was like, man, I don't know what to tell you. All right. So I go to metaphysical fucking thoughts and shit like, yeah, you know what? I go to mental shit. Like I be diagnosing on some whole other shit. All right. So it'd be nice to get somebody a practical solution. Like I'm all for root cause analysis, but I also am looking for practicality as well. Like, yo, a lot of times people ain't trying to hear that shit if they can't sleep. Like, yo, the shit I'm talking about is a long-term solution. And they're like, man, I need to sleep today. Like I'm tired. And so, tart cherry juice. I ain't talking about niggas with gout, Allie.
That helped me when I was pregnant and I had insomnia. But okay.
Tart cherry juice is good for sleeping. It helps put kids to sleep instead of giving them melatonin.
Yeah. Yep. I give my kids it.
Really?
Yep.
Christina, have you tried tart
Mm-hmm.
cherry juice?
I have. I like X said, sometimes people have a lot of stuff going on. I just have so much stuff going on. I don't know that it really helps. Like, and it's
Yeah,
not all the time. It's like sometimes I can like fall asleep. I guess because I'm so tired. But most of the time, it takes a very long time for me to fall asleep. And then when I find like when I started taking these pills, it's like I don't know. I don't feel rested like I thought I would when I wake up. I'm like fucking exhausted.
yeah,
So
the actual cherries help with that shit. So tart cherry juice is definitely good. Either that or the actual cherries.
Yeah, it would knock
Ashwagandha
me out.
helps too.
y'all know I'll be taking my long baths. I'll be doing the ashwagandha. I got a ton of different medicine. I've been weaning off my medicine though, but so I don't know. Maybe that's some of it too. But I just got a lot of different little things going on, trying to get rid of everything. So
Yep,
one
chamomile tea.
done that. Like anything, I've tried a lot, but we'll see. I'll try to see like next time I get an appointment with my doctor. It's probably like in another 2 months in May. I go see him in May. I'll ask him about the GHB and I'll let y'all know.
Good stuff.
It's been my second night now with the grounding sheet, and I don't know. I've been sleeping better, so
You said with
maybe
the
that's
who?
enough.
I
Oh, you
did
got the
that
grounding sheet?
too. I did
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Hey,
too. I
yeah,
didn't notice a difference,
yeah.
but
It takes it some for some people it takes much longer to see a difference.
yeah,
So I don't know how long you tried it, but yeah, it's only been 2 days, and I feel a difference even in my late nights here working. So more energized.
yeah. I only did it maybe 3 weeks. I felt like that was long enough to be able to tell.
grounding sheet didn't help.
Mm-mm. Nope. My
Were
next
you
thing.
taking the sleeping aids with it?
No, not at the time that I had the grounding sheet. Yeah.
Oh shit.
I know
Hey,
I ain't taking that damn sleeping aids no more. I'm not taking Ambien after listening to the first couple of paragraphs of this article that I need to get from you, Linnell. I know I'm not doing that shit no more.
I'll
That thing
take
said
it.
die.
Hey,
All I could think about was Joseph. If you die, you die. And I'm like, shit.
hold on. Where's the hell? I'll put it in the chat. Um, So, hey, Cola like you, Christina. Cola says she tried everything. Let's see.
Yeah,
Hey, I
it'd
put
be
that. I dropped
rough.
that in the chat.
Thank you. It'd be rough, Cola. Whew.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, man. For all my sleep deprived people, um, hope this was informative. Like, cause this is one of them things. It's like, yo, the pharmaceutical companies doing their thing, right? If it's not something they control, because the thing is, I'm sure GHB was made by a pharmaceutical company, and so they were just little kids on the block, right? And they lobby was way more powerful than the GHB people lobby. So the people that made GHB, I'm sure they like, yo, we came up with this thing. It's great. Everybody should embrace it. Not understanding that, yo, this shit is grimy. They don't want they don't want people figuring it out. Like your thing is finna get rid of, like if I got three things, like I'm selling Xanax, I'm selling some Ambiens, I'm selling some of these, I'm selling some of those. Don't none of these bitches work, and so you're gonna keep using them all, right? You're gonna be on the shit for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I got other shit I'm selling, right? I got drugs for all these other conditions, and then the conditions that are being caused by the sleeping aids not working. Like I got drugs for all of this shit. Like that's billions you trying to knock out. Nigga, they not trying to hear none of that shit. Dude, when I read them numbers, where them numbers go? Y'all think about it. This is greed right here. Hold on, where it go? The sleeping aid business where they say so it's a $65 billion a year sleep aid market, right? And then when you throw in everything else, like the rings and the beds and the pillows and all that shit, is $432 billion a year, right? But just the 65 billion for the sleep aids, the pills and all of that shit, like that's a beast. They would protect the fuck out of that. And you coming through with something that can likely knock that shit out or take the majority of that, man, please. Why wouldn't I give a couple congressmen a half a million to a million to make your shit illegal? Why wouldn't I pay some news outlets to write bad stories and associate your shit with Rohypnol and the date rape drug and label your shit as the date rape drug? Hey, this shit was slick as fuck, right? So Rohypnol was a date rape drug, right? So hold on, give me a second. All right, cool. Had to blow my nose. So Rohypnol, the date rape drug. So they get a bunch of stories written about date rape drug, Rohypnol, and GHB, right? And then they lobby Congress to outlaw date rape drugs. And then right before the shit passed, they take Rohypnol out of it and it just leaves GHB. That was fucking underhanded. That's some underhanded shit.
That's underhanded, like how they did the clearance for, they got an emergency authorization for these shots and stuff, and they continue to extend it, and right now it's extended until 2029, where the companies aren't liable, and it's still emergency use authorization. It's never been what's the word, like, it's never been authenticated where you can
Hmm.
actually use
So
it. Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's something that Trump can
He
rescind.
can, but it's like, will he? You know, will they?
So that's one. It's got to come from HHS
Right.
because that's where that shit started. So um, you know what? A lot of times I forget that, yo, we only like a month in.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We
A
like 2 months
lot. Yeah,
in,
he's doing a lot.
and I'm like, and so a lot didn't happen, but it's a lot that I want to happen, and I'm like, yo, what they waiting on? And I'm like, oh, well, they only been there a month, so we got to give them a little bit of time to make some shit happen. But I'm definitely looking for some shit to happen. But yeah, no, you're right. Um, all right. Anything? Anybody want to got anything to contribute to this topic here? We're talking about GHB, which they convinced all of y'all was a date rape drug. All right, they convinced everybody it was a date rape drug.
And it's still being uh,
Even
conflated
today,
with it online because I just looked it up too, and it's still they still conflate it with that.
yeah. Oh no, even today, right now, after this is over with, if y'all talk to people about GHB, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you mean a date rape drug?" And no matter what you say, they're going to associate it with it being a date rape drug.
It's just like they used to say that the Earth was flat. They used to teach that, and now they don't.
Mm-hmm. All right. No questions about this? With the article? All right, cool. Let's see what I got. That didn't take long. See? That's a long ass article. I was like, that's a lot of reading. Let me get right to it. Let's see what I got for y'all. Switch speeds a little bit. Yo. So, speaking of markets, I'm jealous. Okay? Just want y'all to know I'm jealous. Um, this person came up with an idea. First of all, you got to leave it to the church. All right. Um, hey, I posted it already. Coco Bush, three. Look up three messages. That's the article right there. All right. So some people are geniuses. All right. And this gentleman was an inspiration for me. Coco Boo, you got sleep problems? You be up at night because you can't sleep? Or is it for somebody else? Or you gonna take it to work? Oh, you work at the hospital. Why don't you see if you can grab some of that? Send it to me. That might be my new business. Or you got insomnia? I asked people who had goddamn insomnia like when I first started. Where was you at? Jesus Christ. I asked for my insomniac, so you was working. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's for you. The whole show was for you. This is for my insomniacs. People who can't sleep. All right. All right. So I'm gonna play for y'all this clip, man. And this gentleman, he's doing it right. And if I wasn't so busy, you chose a night shift to play on your insomnia. I don't think that worked. I don't think it worked like that. But you know what? Be great. Yeah. So this gentleman is a visionary, right? And while y'all listening to this, I'm gonna be creating one. Just watch what I say. But you know what? Church is undefeated. I wish JR was here. This right up his alley.
God told me to do something like he told me with the handkerchiefs. He says, I want you to pray over dream pillows so that my people can hear me in dreams. And if you call in today and order this, I'll send this to you. And we prayed over these that God would visit your life. Amen. You need this today. And then I also did the kind for you girls. I know you love pink, so I know the women want the pink. And this is so anointed. God will start appearing to you through dreams if you will sleep on these anointed pillowcases, and you will start receiving answers for your business, for your life, for your destiny. I want to see that happen for you. So the boy kind is blue and the girl's kind is pink. So listen, let me tell you something. We are seeing God do amazing things through the dream realm. We have raised up a dream army. I want to say this to all you who may be dreaming out there. I want you to call in that number and tell us about your dreams.
You know what? I want y'all to know Friday, I'm going to have dream pillows. Black is Uniform dream pillows. All right. I'm going to pray over each and every one of them.
I'd be looking
All
at you
right.
funny if you didn't. Like, that is super smart. This man here, I bet you he's selling them too.
Dream pillows, bro. I'm trying to tell you. It's coming.
And
Hey,
that
man.
music.
Hey, Ray, not yet. Wait till Friday. I will be. Friday, I will definitely be selling dream pillows, man. You heard it here first. Pastors be leading the way.
Was that the same pastor that was caught in the scandals a couple times? What's his
Um,
name? What's
you
his
know
name?
what?
Because I know that voice.
You know what? Hold on. I don't know if his name popped up when I looked at it. Hold on, because I think I looked for the name. I was like, yo,
And
this niggas,
who exactly is gonna
this
pray
nigga
over
lit.
your pillows, Linnell?
I'm praying over the pillows. What are you talking about?
Uh.
I'm anointed. You know
Yeah, he
I'm
ordained.
I'm ordained.
You gonna pray over your own pillow?
Hmm?
You pray?
I'm gonna pray over y'all
No, but
pillows. What are you talking
who's
about?
praying over your pillow?
I'm praying over pillows.
Over your own pillow.
Yeah.
Was it Pastor David E. Taylor?
Do he have a big forehead? Like,
Yeah, Jerry curl a little bit in the side, like whatnot. He got a big forehead. He's light skinned, but he
yeah.
ain't dark. He ain't dark. He big. He heavy set. Not well. Not. He's not huge, but
Hold on. Where's the what you call it? Dude, I
hold
got
on.
this.
It's David. It got to be David Taylor.
Yeah, I saw this today. Hold on. It might be.
Hold on. I must change my PTR. I'll find it.
Yeah. If I see it, I know because that dude had an extended forehead. I was like, yo,
Yeah, yeah. This is.
this dude is wild. But yeah, Dream Pillows is coming Friday, y'all. Don't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Again, if in case you didn't know, I'm ordained. I'm an ordained minister.
Is it this guy?
Okay.
This is a younger version of him, but I want to.
Oh, no, ain't no. Hold on, wait, let me see. Yep,
Oh,
that's him.
oops. Yeah. See that guy still at it.
Hey man, I'm not mad at it. But yeah, for those who don't know, I'm an ordained minister, and so I will definitely be praying over your pillows. All right, no worries. Coming Friday.
That's
Um,
wild.
Black as a Uniform Dream Pillows. You heard it here first. Let's see. Hey yo, do y'all know where the origin of the term tinfoil hat came from?
Yeah, wasn't it supposed to, I think, protect your head from like radiation or something? Like, I
Um,
mean, it tied to conspiracy, but like protection of your brain or something.
so close. So you're not off, but not quite. A Magneto, uh, nah, tangentially. What you say, Ray? No, radio frequencies from radio stations? Not really. Right? So there's a specific origin story to the tinfoil hat.
Hey, you know where the term tinfoil hat came from, right?
I don't remember.
Tinfoil hat. A guy named Leonard Kyle, Kiles. He had patents on like Polaroid camera shit. Okay, he was a smart guy. Thought his girlfriend was cheating on him, and he would fly into rages and was seeing a therapist. Bad luck for him. This therapist was a CIA guy. Yeah, Delgado. Those old things with the bull where it doesn't charge because they're putting it's a chip. You know, the brain chip has been invented a long time ago. So they put this in this guy's head without telling him, a brain chip, and then it turned him into. I mean, it just him up, okay? And he ended up in a booby hatch, and the pain from because microwaves have to be transmitted to his chip. So the pain of that in his brain made him put metal trash cans on his, because he's smart. He knew science things and what they were using, even though he was in pain. And then they started letting him use aluminum foil around his head. And that's so we get the term tinfoil hat from a guy the CIA mutilated and up. And now we say it as a joke. You see how magic works?
So a dude that they took stuck chips in his brain, and he was looking for a way to stop the signal from reaching the fucking chips, and he put fucking foil over it to stop the fucking signal.
You know, it's interesting because people say to put foil over smart meters. I've heard that before.
You know what? We don't have no smart meters around here. Goddamn it!
Like an electric meter?
Well, like, yeah, because, they've been installing them. That's what a lot
Say
of people out
less.
in California were saying. I mean, I did that. I did it. I don't know how well it worked because I didn't know when they put it in from the place I moved from. But because we were on the ground floor, it was in my room. So I put foil over it to hopefully stem some of the radiation that was coming
Tried to
off
put
of
a
it or whatever.
Faraday cage around it.
Right. My homemade, yeah.
Oh god, good
So
stuff.
you think that if somebody would take a Faraday type cage thing and put it on their electric meter outside of their house, that it would stop a signal going through as to like calculating electricity? Just
No,
wondering. No,
well, is it wireless?
I don't know. I know they don't like
No, they're
the.
not wireless. Yeah, your meters aren't wireless.
Right. I think it was just
Mm,
supposed to be for, like, I don't know if it's for if they're inside or if they, emit a lot of radiation on the inside, but that's what people were saying that were being replaced and were mandatory that were actually catching fire, causing people's houses to burn down, like in California and some other
oh,
places.
okay. I just had to ask because I was gonna try it.
Hmm. All right, let's see. What you say? X smart meters stop people from stopping the reading so they could grow weed. They were trying to catch criminals. Oh, that's what the meters were for, trying to catch
Yeah, because
criminals.
ain't no way to turn that shit off.
Oh, sucks. Yo, I really should have started with this story today. Um, I forgot it wasn't on my list. I'm glad I cycled through to see it. Um, so in June 2024, um, this dude named Jamie White tweeted, um, "I am on the Ukrainian enemies list due to my work at Infowars with Alex Jones on the Ukraine proxy war. The group who compiled this list is tied to the U.S. State Department, U.S. Aid, CIA, and George Soros." Okay, so it was he worked for uh, Alex Jones at Infowars. He was a reporter, and he tweeted that he was on a kill list. Um, yeah, he was on the kill list for what he was saying about Ukraine and the Ukraine war, and how Ukraine was being used as a proxy for other entities. Well, um, 2 days ago, Jamie White was brutally murdered outside his apartment. He was
What?
he was gunned down outside of his apartment. This is one of Alex Jones reporters who was fucking murdered. Um, yeah. So that's about as on the nose as you can get, right? So a dude saying, "Yo, these dudes are trying to kill me for my reporting on Ukraine." And then 6 months later, 8 months later, he's fucking killed. 9 months. 9 months later, he's killed. So, like, we're used to seeing reporters killed in like other countries. All right. I mean, it happens here too, but I don't think we're used to it. Not like that, especially not people who are like, they're not reporters for like mainstream news outlets, right? So he's a reporter for Alex Jones. Alex Jones, for what you think about Alex Jones is like on the front line, on the cutting edge of fucking conspiracy, right? Whether you think he's a shill or not, Alex Jones be saying some shit, right? And to me, Alex Jones is the worst shill ever because he's put so much truth out there, it's ridiculous. And so, like, his brand, remember, they've been trying to shut Alex Jones down. Alex Jones went to court and said, yo, the Sandy Hook shit was a hoax. And he said it in court loudly. And they found him guilty. They tried to shut him down a couple times, right? And so now one of his reporters was shot down. Like, and this is a white man. Like, I want y'all to think about that. He wasn't in the game and no shit. Like, a white man who's a reporter for Alex Jones got gunned down in his parking lot. Like, that's fucking huge. And I'm sure any other reporter working on stories that they consider questionable is thinking twice. And that's why you do shit like that, right? You do it so other reporters think twice about the shit that they fucking report on. And that shit is dangerous, right? So remember the names that he said, right? So the group that compiled the list is tied to the U.S. State Department, U.S. Aid, the CIA, and George Soros. So speaking of U.S. Aid, guess who? If y'all take a guess, right, on who had a $6 million grant awarded to them from U.S. Aid, who do y'all think it would be?
Bill Gates?
So I'm gonna give you a hint. It was to promote diversity on a TV show.
Ooh.
All right, I want y'all to think about who been talking cash shit about Elon and Trump.
Joy?
You know
No?
what?
Okay.
You're getting close.
The
Think
View.
think 2 seats
The
down.
View? Two seats down.
I said think
Oh,
two
two
seats
seats
down.
down. Uh, Rachel Maddow? No. Two seats down.
Whoopi Goldberg.
What?
Doge found a $6 million grant awarded to Whoopi Goldberg to promote diversity on The View.
Wow.
All
Okay, wait a
So
right,
minute.
why?
Say that
So
again.
why is this
Say
such a
that one more
bad
time.
thing, Linnell?
yo,
Really?
um,
What kind of diversity are we talking about?
just diversity.
Yeah,
When they
well,
say
That
diversity, they
means
mean
anything goes. Yeah.
LGBT shit.
that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I was getting to.
Mm-hmm. When they say diversity, they mean LGBT shit. All right, that's what diversity they mean. You know what I'm saying? So all of all of that shit, like this right here. Hold on, this is Whoopi. All right.
You know, this isn't just about food. No, it's not. This is sometimes people are born genetically larger. Agreed. I didn't mean to. No, no, I know you didn't. Yeah. But I want to say this to to RFK. That's his name. Because you're setting folks up for shame. Yeah. That's what you're trying. Maybe you don't know you're doing. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say you don't know, you don't realize what you do to people when you say stuff like that, because it doesn't work for everybody. And I'm going to show you, sir, because I weighed close to 300 less than 2 years ago. Yeah. And without the Majaro, this would not have happened. There you go. Take it off. Take it off. There you go. And I try to tell everybody, listen, this worked for me. This may work for y'all. You cannot take it out of people's hands if it can help. Because if we can keep people healthy, if we can get rid of diabetes, if we can get rid of all of the things cardiovascular, what's wrong with trying to do that?
Nothing.
You're wrong on this, R.
Also, the side effects are not horrible. But what does Kimberly Guilfoyle think of it? That's what I want to know.
She's going to agree she got a body now.
Yeah. Where does Elon Musk come and RFK Jr., two medical experts? Who are they?
Elon's right on this. Elon's right on this.
Yeah. Also, maybe the brainworm will shrink. Never mind.
That's your girl Whoopi. She promoting fat people. Be fat. People just meant to be fat. Like, nigga, what? And if they fat, then they can just take some pills. Like, bruh.
Get surgery.
Bruh. So she be promoting all kinds of bullshit. Trans agenda, pharmaceutical fucking shit. Fucking pro body positivity. That's
That's your
diversity.
commercial right there.
You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied, bro.
Well, the other one's got to be getting some money from somewhere too, because
Oh
man,
no, she ain't the only one.
especially that
I'm
Sunny.
sure Joy
Oh
getting
my
some bread
gosh,
too.
yeah, Joy
I'm
and
sure Joy
Sunny.
getting some bread. But yeah. So this is why when they shut down USA, everybody lost their shit. Everybody was getting paid off of USA. That's what this is coming out. That's what's coming out right now. I don't know if y'all saw Obama. His daughter was getting paid from USAID. Fucking Johnny Depp. Fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, who was that? Sean Penn went over, took a picture with Zelensky. Whoopi. Like, all these people was getting paid. They were all being given money. That's why everybody lost their shit once Elon went in there and was like, you know what? Let's see what's going on up in here. Everybody screaming, "Oh, my money! My money!" Hold on, wait. Y'all know what I need? God damn it. So one, I'm very upset that I don't have it. I'm very upset I don't have it. Wait, time out. Wait, time out. So I've been doing this for way too long to not have this. Yeah. Hold on, to not have this. I'm very upset. All right, hold on. Wait. I'm gonna get it. So it's a clip that goes with this, like the shit we talking about. It goes with it, and I need it because it goes with a lot of shit. Um, any of y'all watch King of the Hill? Who watched King of the Hill?
Not regularly.
What?
I don't really.
I don't
Well,
watch
I
King
don't
of the
really
Hill.
watch TV.
All right, hold on. Wait. So yeah, wait, dude. Time out. I have to have this clip. So, because not only this, it happened a couple times in the show. So it's when Bobby, so if you don't watch King of the Hill, Bobby is like the little boy. He was getting bullied at school, and so Hank sent him to, he sent him down to the YMCA to like a self defense class, but the self defense class is like the regular one was full, and so the only one that had openings was the women's self defense class, and so Bobby ended up in the women's self defense class, right? So Bobby, if you don't know, he like a 10-year-old boy,
Yeah, I remember Bobby.
and so this is what like in the women's so this is what he learned in the women's self defense class. Give me your purse now.
That's my purse. Don't be afraid to shout it. That's my purse! Try it again. That's my purse! I don't know you! Oh, oh.
Yo, hey,
I ain't never
so
seen that episode.
yo, that shit is fucking great. Um, so that's every time I think of what they're doing with Doge, and I hear all these people upset. That's that's what I think of. I think of Bobby Hill being pissed, like every time somebody pick at him. That's my purse. I don't know you. Yeah, because he's taking their money, right? He's taking their money. So hold on. I'm gonna need that sound bite. Hold on. Had to get it ready. So y'all get ready for a new regular sound. Whenever we talk about Doge and whenever we talk about Doge and people upset about Doge and what Elon's doing is
That's my purse! I don't know you!
that's literally that's Whoopi Goldberg. All the people mad at fucking Elon, right? He's like, oh no, US aid is giving $5 million to Johnny Depp to go and hang out with Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's my purse! I don't know you!
Yo, that's my shit. So that's Whoopi Goldberg. That's the joy. That's everybody's Rachel Maddow because they all getting money. Rachel Maddow pissed off. Everybody caping for USA. All the senators, all the Congress people, all the business people. All right. Um, you say what about the $65 million Starlink award the Pentagon gave Elon? What about it, Miss Melody? What was it for? What was he providing Starlink for? You know? Anybody know what the Starlink was for? All right. So the thing is, I don't.
Wasn't that under Biden that gave him that? Was
So
that?
Biden gave him the 400 million for the Tesla trucks,
Oh,
right? So the Starlink contract, like, what was it for? Who was it for? When was it for? Right. So I don't think the problem is contracts. It's stupid contracts and wasteful contracts. So what was the Starlink for? Is it something that was needed? Was it Starlink in the middle of DC where we got fucking phone lines and shit that we don't need no fucking Starlink? All right. Or was it Starlink in the place where they ain't got no fucking service? Like, it's a thing. All right, she gonna find it. All right, cool. But yeah, so yeah, Whoopi getting paid, right? So that's why as soon as Elon started, it was like, yeah, we cutting off all the money from U.S. aid to everybody. Whoopi was like,
That's my purse! I don't know you!
hey yo, um, let's see what else I got for y'all. So that was dude that got killed. The reporter that was tough. Um, oh, what else happened? Well, hold on, let me see. In San Francisco, all right. So California, y'all stand up. So out of all the places on out of all the places on like in the country, is there a place more politically correct and woke than San Francisco? Hmm. Is there a place more politically like than San Francisco? What you say, Ray?
Maybe
Elon doesn't get to
Seattle.
decide what's wasteful though, and neither does Trump. Well, Elon doesn't decide what's wasteful. He just go in and analyze and make sure that things can be audited, right? And he presents his findings to Trump, and Trump definitely does get to decide what's wasteful. He's the president. That's what elections are for. Um, Oregon is not worse than San Francisco. The city, Oregon, and plus Oregon is a state, not a city. Seattle, uh, Seattle is definitely on the list, but it ain't worse than San Francisco. San Francisco got a poop monitor, like they got a poop app where they track human feces on the street. Did y'all have you heard of
Yeah,
that
we talked
before?
about you mentioned that before. That's crazy.
Seattle ain't got that. How dare
No.
you put that, like, try to put Seattle ahead of them?
Well,
And
they
if
got
Paige
them.
wasn't asleep right now, she'd be appalled.
Well, they got the. I just know when I went out there, um, to do a show, I was not ready for the whole bathroom situation.
Oh
I
man, that
was
ain't shit.
not.
So check this out. In San Francisco, ex Miss Melody, Rashanae, if you listening, Todd, when you listen on replay, a woke spa in San Francisco is having difficulty navigating the natural consequences of their policies. They held a women's only night. Any can y'all see what's coming? Anybody see what's coming? So a spa held a women's only night. What do y'all think happened at the women's only night?
Yeah. Some non-biological women came.
Okay.
A bunch of men.
Hess, I knew you was gonna be on it. All right. They held a women's only night, and so many, listen to the term that they used, be penis people showed up that even the San Francisco wokes revolted, and now they're having alternating phallic and non-phallic days. Hold on, I had to choke. They begged their clients to understand that requesting a phallic free space is not about exclusion.
Phallic free? Oh my God.
Yo. Anyway, so I'm gonna read you guys the notice they put up. All right. So I guess this is Banya. Miss Melody, you ever been to Banya? It's a spa in San Francisco. You the spa queen. I'm sure you it's been on your radar. All right. Dear Banyan patrons, it has been a long and difficult night filled with reflection on how to best navigate the conversation unfolding around us. Oh, yeah. Is that what's unfolding? We are listening. We are reading the comments, some of them filled with thoughtful perspectives, others with painful accusations. And we want to take a moment to clarify our intentions. So this is the definition of trying to please everyone. Remember on the list from earlier, being a people pleaser? Fuck out of here. We have seen messages claiming that cis women don't deserve space, that asking for a phallus-free environment is inherently hateful, and that any separation is an act of exclusion. That is categorically not true. Hey, yo, this is fucking priceless. The request for a phallic free space is not about exclusion, it is about recognizing that some members of our community experience a different reaction to that part of the human body. Yo.
The mental gymnastics and
Hey,
poop
yo.
salad that has to go on
Yo.
to.
Hey,
Oh my
yo.
gosh.
Hold on, this is tickling the shit out of me. um, whether that reaction is based on personal history, trauma, cultural or religious beliefs, or simply comfort, it is valid. It should not be controversial to hold space for both needs, and we are planning to arrange monthly a night that welcomes all women, regardless of gender identity. What the fuck does that mean? Wait, so you can be a woman but have different gender identities? What the fuck? I'm confusion. Um, all right, hold on, wait. I'm sorry, I paused because I was confusion. All right, it is not. It should not be controversial to hold space for both needs, and we are planning to arrange monthly a night that welcomes all women, regardless of gender identity, and a night that provides healing, comfortable space for those who need female-only, phallus-free environment. Some have framed this issue as an issue of hate and marginalization, but intention matters. Our intention has never been and never will be to push trans women away. Archimedes Banya has always been and will always be a place where trans women, trans men, and non binary individuals are welcome every other day of the month. What the fuck? Hey, fucking yo. That was fucking great. I swear to God. That was absolutely fantastic. A phallus free environment is all they want. Um, yo, what you say, Meaty? Uh, they be losing if they still did ladies free promotions at clubs. Yeah, dude. So I played that at I think a couple weeks ago. It was a bar, it was a restaurant that had like half price off for ladies or some shit, and they got sued in court. And then there was an app that was like a ladies only app, and a tranny sued and he won. Like, yo, California is taking it on the chin. On the freaking chin. Hey yo.
They didn't think that through, huh?
Yeah, buddy. Let's see. What you say, Raynor? The president does not get to decide what's wasteful and just not fund it. If Congress appropriates funds, the president must spend them. This is plain in the Constitution. The problem is what they're spending them on, and the president can absolutely decide what not to spend them on, right? And that is being affirmed in the Constitution. Thank you. In the Supreme Court, I mean. So like, there's no Congress didn't choose to spend funds on gay frogs. That wasn't a Congress thing. That was decided by the people at U.S. Aid. So he's not cutting funding, right, to U.S. Aid per se, but he's deciding what they can spend it on. Thank you.
But
Um,
didn't they say even Congress was saying that as they wanted to audit it or wanted to get answers, they would not answer to them either?
mhm,
Yeah,
yeah.
they wouldn't let them
But
see
so the
anything.
thing is, right now Trump is doing it unilaterally, and some people are squealing, and that shit. Um, hey, motherfuckers is
That's my purse! I don't know you!
yo, hey yo. Um, all right, let's see what else. But yeah, AX, y'all can hold that. All right, that phallus-free environment is classic. It's fucking classic. It was only a matter of time before they turned on each other. Um. Oh shit. Something else that's important. Hold on. Let me see. It's a couple of things that are important. How much time we got? Um.
Are you
So
going to talk about Trump and the like on the one hand he's talking about free speech, and then on the other hand he's supporting anti-Semites.
The thing is, I was looking at some stuff. You talking about the guy that got
Yeah,
arrested for demonstrating, who was on a green
yeah.
card? Dude, I saw something today that said that dude had clearance, had UK clearance, like high clearance. What's it called? A high level clearance in like the UK government. So that motherfucker might have been a
Oh,
fucking operative.
oh, okay.
So I'm waiting for. I gotta wait for that shit to shake out before I talk about it, right? So I gotta see who the fuck he was because I saw it. And I'm like, I don't know if they would just deport him just because. I don't know. But then I saw that shit today. I'm like, hold on. Let me see what the fuck this is. So I'm gonna wait. We'll see exactly what's going on and if he does get deported and all that shit. And we'll see what their reasons are and all that shit. So we gotta wait for it to shake out. Now there are a couple of things that happened. So let me see. So hold on, let me see how much time we got. You know what? We ain't got time for neither one of these. So we'll talk about both of these on Friday. So one, the Department of Education is all but shut down.
Woohoo!
I know. So we'll talk about that on Friday. And we'll talk about what happened in Romania. So we talked about Romania last week. Um, and so yeah, we'll go over Romania on Friday because something important happened there. So we'll talk about both of those things on Friday. Yeah. Oh man, that was funny. Yo, that phallus-free environment got me weak, man. I'm fucking hilarious. Okay. So let's do. Yeah. Where's Robin at? Um. Robin had a name for the segment. Yo, what's going on, Shan? How you feel? Um. Meaty, what'd you say? Any truth to Trump converting to Judaism a few years ago? No.
Yeah, I've been hearing that too.
No. No truth to it. Let's see. What you say, Raynor? Dude, you just said Trump is not cutting funding, but now you're saying he's shutting down the Department of Education. So shutting down the DOE is not cutting funding to the states for education. Those are different things. So the states will still get the same money from the federal government. It's just that there won't be oversight from the federal government giving dumbass ideas, right, to the
Tied to
states,
money.
right, tied to money.
Hmm.
Right, those are different things. The DOE has to go. Like that shit is trash. I don't know if you're American, bro, but the Department of Education has contributed nothing since its founding.
There's a lot of, I was looking online, there's a lot of teachers like myself that are like, yes, this has wreaked havoc on our
Mm,
children, on our status, as far as where we are, where we were to where we are academically. It's been horrible.
hmm Shan, what you say? So, what's to become of the funding? So, the funding for the DOE will be shifted to the Treasury. So, like, that's not going nowhere. Let's see, where is it at? See if I can find it for you. Um, yeah. So, oh man, yeah. So the scholarships and shit. The scholarships are coming. Will start coming from the Treasury. The funding is still going to the states. I think I closed that what you call it down. Yeah. So like the Pell Grants and all that shit, they'll just shift that shit to the Treasury, right? All the funding aspects that come from the government, they'll get it. Um, the DOE gets funding. Sure, it gets funding, right? I get that part. So he's shutting it down, All
And
right.
people don't, I don't think people fully understand how the DOE works and how we were doing great before 1979 when it was
Right.
created. It ain't even been, we were doing way better before the establishment of the
Right.
Department of
No,
Education.
100%. And if you think that, and the other thing is, bro, just because the money gets allotted for the Department of Education, he doesn't have to spend it. Like they don't have to spend all the money allotted to the DOE. It'll go back to Congress if they don't spend it. All right. That's one of the reasons why a lot of departments, like they spend their money like aimlessly. They'll just spend it on whatever at the end of the year, because if they don't spend it all, then they'll get less the next year. So he doesn't have to fucking spend it all. Yeah, we'll see. All right, we'll see.
No Child Left Behind was a disaster.
Yeah, yeah. The Department of Education contributed nothing, and so that shit needed to go. All right. So yeah, that shit's going. No FAFSA. Yeah. So the federal, like the student aid, all that shit doesn't go anywhere. It just goes to other departments. So like the dude, I had it up where all that shit would go to. Let me see. Let's see if I can pull it back up. Um, let's see. Cause I don't know how long I had that shit up for. No, that ain't it. No, recently closed. Oh man, yeah, I can't find it. I literally just had it up. I thought I had it up. Cause they literally laid out how the shit would be dispersed. Uh, did the dummy? I closed it. Why did I close it? Close because I was probably done. Oh no, here it goes. Here it goes. All right, so the lunch program is not run by the Department of Education, so that's not an issue. The individualized education and special education programs will be moved into Health and Human Services. The federal Pell Grant and Perkins loans will be moved to the Treasury. The Civil Rights Division will be moved to the DOJ. All right, there you go. So those are the pertinent parts that the federal government does. Everything other than that, right, everything else goes back to the states.
And I think IDEA goes under, it's going, did you say that? HHS? Health and Human
Hmm.
Services? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hmm which and people work for the DOE. Yes, people work for the DOE. They're getting, I think they're getting laid off, right? And I think they're getting severance packages.
They are. They are
Yeah,
getting
they get
severance
severance
packages. Like for the
packages.
first 90 days, and then thereafter, it's like if you've worked 10 years or less, I think you get 1 week's pay for a certain amount of time. I forgot. And then if you've worked over 10 years, it's like 2 weeks' pay after the severance or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's going. I
Couldn't they
think.
just absorb their positions into like the school system if there's a shortage on teachers? Like they could maybe take some extra classes that they're missing to be certified for it, or like
It
substitutes
doesn't
for.
affect teachers. It doesn't.
No.
Oh,
I'm saying like the positions that'll be laid off from the DOE. Couldn't they just like absorb them into the school system some kind of way if they still wanted to work in education, or maybe work at their state department?
Um, at the, I mean, you mean at the local department, the
Yeah,
local
yeah.
DOE? Yeah, they can go to the state departments of education and work there. They got fucking experience. So whatever state will have them, they'll be all right. So yeah.
well, you know,
Mm,
New York governor's telling everybody to come here and work for for New
all right.
York.
What's up, Shane?
Good evening. Well, morning. I don't
Yeah,
know.
all right. What's cracking?
I have I have a question because I still don't
Hmm.
understand the removal of it. From my understanding, it was also helping to protect marginalized and low income students to be able to access schools, especially during a time when certain states were implementing laws that was barring people. So, like, what do we do now if you don't have the
So,
federal protection of that now?
so that was the Civil Rights Division in the DOE. That'll be moved to the Civil Rights Department of the Justice Department. So that department still exists.
Okay, so they're gonna
It's
move it
just not under
to
the
where
DOE.
now? I'm sorry.
To the DOJ, Civil Rights Division.
Okay. Okay, so they're still gonna be hands on with assuring that the states don't try to do
Yeah,
no put no fast ones.
yeah. So yeah, that's civil rights. That's literally civil rights.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
crime. Yeah, so it should go to the DOJ. That's where it's going.
Okay. Yeah, I just I'm just raising the eyebrow to it all because,
No, I got you.
when it
That's what's up.
comes to especially black children in America, um, there has been great efforts to undermine their abilities to access certain resources. And we know that Jim Crow was a state issue. It was
Mm,
states implementing this, and it was the federal government that had to erase Jim
right.
Crow. So, the federal government usually protects the interests of, like you said, our civil rights, to override the states. So I
Hmm.
don't know if I really quite trust certain states, to protect the rights of all blacks.
No, I get you. I understand that part, but again, those states will need to engage. Like once you see issues, you got to engage the DOJ and be like, "Hey, look." So one, you engage the state, right? And if the state doesn't provide recompense, then you engage the federal Department of Justice, which is what you would have did anyway. Like it's their job. So
And they're better equipped to handle things like that than the
mhm.
Department of Education.
Good job. It was nice seeing you, Shan. You came right when it was finna close.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know what, dude? I'll be getting in and out, so I try to keep it under 4 hours.
Okay.
Like, yeah,
Dang,
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought
I
y'all would,
started.
usually y'all be warming up by this time.
Yeah, I know. It be warming it up right now. Like, bruh, no. So yeah, get your ass here early on
Oh, let
Friday,
me
Shan. We
join the
start at
club
10 o'clock
because,
your time.
like,
All right.
I
No,
haven't.
shit, this a new fucking account. God damn,
Oh yeah, like I haven't. That's what I'm saying. Like I haven't seen y'all rooms. I haven't.
bruh. Yeah. So join this one and make sure you join the temple, King Solomon's temple. All right. All right. Cool. Um. All right. Other than that, oh, you know what? Moment of positivity, guys. Let's make this shit happen. Let's see. We be talking about a lot of heavy shit. Yo, this is for all my people. Here we go. If you cannot write down right now on a piece of paper, this is what I want, then you can't have it. Because your mind will get for you what you want, but you have to feed it a vision of what you're looking for. The function of the mind is to make coherence between your belief and your reality. If I believe it's not going to work, then the function of the mind will manifest a situation where it doesn't work. If I totally believe this is how it's going to work, then my mind will set me up in a situation where it works that way. That's when you start to realize, wait a minute, it's not chance anymore. This isn't chance. This is creativity, and we are creators. Write it the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. It's been lit. I'm gonna see y'all Friday. So Friday we're gonna do we're gonna catch up on anything politics related. Also, um we'll talk I think we're gonna talk Pizzagate. I know that's Allie's favorite subject and it popped up recently, so I figure why not? Let's do some Pizzagate. All right. So yeah, get ready to come talk some heavy shit, man. Pizzagate is always one of them things. All right. Other than that, remember, yo, get your certificate of achievement mug. You got to let everybody know you guys fucking survived, right? You didn't go for the bullshit. The link is up top, blackisuniform.com. Check out the other shit in the collections as well, man. All right. Other than that, man, I'm gonna see y'all Friday. Peace. Hey, Shan, see you Friday. Don't forget. Be here early, woman.
But you need the right gear. Blackisuniform.com, you can get it right here. We talk flat earth and mud floods. You might hear about the dome. No matter the topic, you just need something with the shield on. Blackisuniform.com, where conspiracy analysts are at home. Blackisuniform.com, where conspiracy analysts are at home.
Vigor Sport is love and light in a bottle, a CBD infused salve that rids the body of pain, arthritis, carpal tunnel, and muscle aches. There's no job too great for Vigor Sport. Headaches, muscle spasms, and menstrual cramps are a thing of the past. Vigor Sport is the Swiss Army knife of your medicine cabinet. Order your jar today at vigorforpain.com.